Hello to all of you. I'm going to give you a tutorial how to study in Denmark. If you are a foreigner who's thinking of studying in Denmark, I got a lot of questions about this, so that's why I decided to create a video explaining how to study in Denmark, especially if you're a foreigner. So it's different between those who's EU citizen and those who's not EU citizen. So let's start with this. I am in newdenmark.dk. I'll post the links in the description of this video, so you could go and follow this what I'm showing right now. So okay, you want to study in Denmark. So the first thing you have to do is go to this newdenmark.dk. You could choose English on the top, Danish or English. And then, yes, okay, let's just go back. Says here, for you who want to apply based on, say, study, and then what is it that you want to study? Basic and youth study, higher education, PhD studies, folk high schools, or folkeskolen, or high school. Um, Work permit for an internship, job seeking after completed education, work permit during the job seeking period. I think if you want to have a study permit or student permit, I think it's here in higher education. Let's check. Yes, and then you could also read here, need to know how to apply, who can receive a residence permit as a student, what are the conditions, what are your rights if you're granted a permit, how long can you stay in Denmark, can your family be granted a residence permit, what more do you need to know before you apply. So you could read all of this, but so it says here 2 months. The processing time is 2 months, and the processing fee is 2,115. So you need to think about that. So if you're currently living in Denmark and thinking about studying, for example, if you're an au pair or if you are an exchange student that your permit is about to stop or run out, then you wanna, or if you're totally completely in a different country and just wanna experience how to study in Denmark, you could go in this site. But if you are living in Denmark and you want to get a student permit or study in Denmark, so here it is. It says who can receive a residence permit as a student. If you have been admitted to a higher educational program in Denmark, you can be granted a permit to live and study in Denmark. You can either complete a full educational program or you can do a part of your education as a guest or exchange student, because I'm also seeing some foreigners as exchange student. That's why I also mentioned about exchange student. So you can also be granted a residence permit to complete preparatory course for a higher educational program, for example an engineer. If you are a citizen of EU or EEA country, or Switzerland, you do not need to apply for a residence permit, because as EU or EEA country or Switzerland, you have the right to study in Denmark. So if you're citizen of EU, feel free to study here. But yes, yes. So if you are these citizens of EU, EEA country, or Switzerland, don't need to apply for a residence permit, but you must instead apply for a EU residence document. So take note of that. Okay, so you could read more about this in New Denmark. What are the conditions and everything? And yeah, if you are not EU citizen, I think if I remember it correctly, if you're EU citizen, you don't need to pay for a tuition fee. But if you're not a EU or EEA or Switzerland citizen, then you have to pay for a full tuition fee. Depends on the course you're going to take. So now I'm going to give you a little bit of a guide on how are you going to choose your course, or how are you going to enroll in schools in Denmark. So I will wait. I'm going to share a next website, or next website. Yes. Okay. First, if you already have a background from your country and you're thinking of using it, or maybe check what are your other options, what are the other options you have. So here's the website you have to go to. The website is ufm.dk. Then you go here in digital application for assessment. So you have your, see here, see the requirements for assessment and find the right application form. Because I'm suggesting this one because, as we all know, we came from different countries, and then educational academic models are different from country to country, or maybe it's similar, we'll never know. But the best way to be able to schools in Denmark to understand your academic background, or what did you finish in your country of origin, or what are your qualifications in terms to, for example, if you're going to enroll in this course, they want to know what is your background. Did you have this subject before, or is it similar to what we have in Denmark? So first, it's best to have your transcript of records from your school or from your university or wherever you studied before, have it assessed in Denmark, so you could kind of have an idea of what are the courses that you could take, or what are the subjects that's credited from your previous school or from previous course you had. Because I remember before when I studied, I my math or algebra in Philippines was considered as a math subject here in Denmark. So it's good to have this assessment. It's good to have, nice to have, because when you apply for a school or when you apply for work, you could use this assessment as like they could kind of know, okay, what was your background. So go to this website. I'll also link this in subscription, ufm.dk, and click on digital application for assessment. You need to have your original transcript of records. And then it says here, open the application form. So you could also read here documentation requirements. I think you need to pass the original copy of your transcript of records. You could pass diploma or certificate, but it needs to be translated, of course. But it needs to, um, okay, yeah, it needs to be at least English. If it's a different language that they would, of course, not understand or would require for them to have a translation, then you have to have the copy of, yeah, you could read everything here. Diploma certificate in the original language, your, yeah, I actually did this the first time I landed in Denmark. I have I've learned I don't know how, but I've learned about this, have my grades assessed. So I had a teacher or background as a teacher in the Philippines. So when I came here, I just want to know. I think that's the reason why I have my grades assessed, because I just want to know I'm also considered as a teacher here in Denmark. So I got that assessed long time ago. uh, it was a different website before, and I remember going personally and giving my transcript of records and my certificate or diploma from that degree. And then they said, they kind of suggest to me that because I had a major, one subject major, they're like suggesting for me to get another major or two subjects. Yes. But they told me that I could actually teach in English, for example, before, because that was my only subject or my only major. So here it says transcript in the original language. Yeah, you need to have the original copy. And then uh, if it's not Norwegian, Swedish, English, German, French, or Spanish, it's not. You need to attach a diploma supplement issued in one of the languages mentioned. Translation is not necessary if it's those language. But I guess if it's not those language, you need to have a translation also for your transcript. Yes. Yes. Yeah, you could read more about here what are the requirements for your documents before filling out the form, and then the application form is here, then you could fill out the form. Wait. Yes, and the documentation first, read these requirements, what are the documents that they could assess, and then afterwards fill out the application form. Okay? And then when you fill out the application form, of course there's a fee. I don't know how much it is now. I think at that time, I don't know if it's for free. I remember it being free before. So I think maybe, but that's like so many years ago. So I'm not super sure. I don't see anything that says here that it has a fee. So I don't know if it's still for free. Wait, let's just go back. But you need to have a meet. You need to be a resident in Denmark, or you need to have a meet ID or name ID. You know, the Danish digital signature. So I guess you are. I guess it's for free. Doesn't says anything here that it has a fee. But you need to be a resident in Denmark to be able to have your grades assessed, because you need to log in with your online application. You need to log in with using your NEM ID or Meet ID. This is like a multi-factor authentication for public governments, like banks and public sites, public government websites. Okay. And the third site I'm going to show you or share to you is, these are the three sites that I think is necessary when you're thinking about um, studying in Denmark. So we are landing on our third website, which is UGI or ug.dk. This is where you could search. Here on the top, you could search what is it that you want, what course do you want to take. Top here, you see on this one, search. You'll type first what course do you want to take, or what job do you want to have. It's either job or course. Then it will give you a guide. For example, I want to be an IT specialist or a teacher. Let's say a teacher. No, let's do IT specialist. I type IT specialist and then I did search, and then it will give you the English or the Danish. You could also do, says here in the selections are study for young, study for it's what is, I think it's like a further education, if I translate it right. I know it in my head, but I'm thinking, what is it in English? I think it's further education. Higher education. Okay. So it's higher education, and then Boxen or EFTA Udanelsa is for adult and after education. Job and career, and then work back to my English is quite bad. My translation is getting worse. But anyway, tools. I'm thinking Vector is because in physical, when you're, yeah, I guess it's also tools, physical or online tools. That's why I got confused. Anyway, let's go back. So I search for IT specialists. These are in Danish. These are like the, okay, what kind of IT specialist do you want to have? This is all. And then if you're young, you go here. If you want a further education, it's here, or higher education. If you're an adult, it's here. So, and then you could choose, okay, do you want to be a master in intelligence and cyber studies? Do you want to master in cybersecurity, or you want to, let's go back to all? Yeah, IT Sikahil. IT security, IT architecture, IT consultant, IT consultant job. So if we click on one of them, for example, here, this is a professional education, and then the other one is certificate education, means a short course. And this is a bachelor education. And this is like, I think this is the computer science, IT and integration design, interaction design. So it says here how many years it says here, but it's in English. I mean in Danish. If you want it to be in English, mm, I guess you could just copy this link and then go to Google, and then it will automatically translate what's in there to English. I know they have an English, don't they have? Wait, let me just go back to ug.dk, and then I will just check. Oh, okay, there's nothing on the top that says English. No. Okay. So let's go back to that. But as I said, maybe you could copy paste the link to Google translate.google.com, and then it would automatically translate in English. It's not perfectly translated, but it could kind of give you an idea. Or here, just what I said, English. Okay, programs in English. You could just do that. And then here you could read study in Denmark.dk. I guess that's better. There you go. Wait, let me just share the fourth site. Um, I'll stop the screen. I'll share the study in Denmark.dk. Yes. At least this one is in English. So I don't need to translate on the spot, which I'm not good at. Anyway, here, study in Denmark, plan your studies, programs, living in Denmark, working in Denmark after graduation. So it's very, very helpful. You could see here how to apply, before applying, all the steps before applying. I mean, there's some courses in Denmark that's in English, and there's also some courses that's only in Danish. So you could also in ug.dk. That's why I wanna show you the ug.dk, because that's like very informative. It has everything like what school, what are the requirements, um, how long will it take, and what are the job opportunities after or connected to this course. But I guess you could also read more here. This is our last website. So here it says everything before applying, general entry requirements, specific requirements, language requirements, application process, important things to remember. Oh yeah, this optails.dk. Wait, this is the last. Oh, okay, you could see it. Good, you could see it. So optails.dk is the last one. After you already decide where you want, what course do you want to take, where do you want, what school do you want to go to, this is where you're going to sign up. This is like sign up site. So you're going to apply for higher education in English, but you need to have a Meet ID or the one I said. Um, yeah, but it says here it will only open this specific period that they're open, because right now they're not yet accepting student applicants. They will only, it says here that it only open, or it will open on February 1st, because it's like two school semester or school period in Denmark. I think one is in August. That's one thing I'm sure, and then the other one is either, if it says February 1st. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure now, but I know there's two times where you could apply in Optails.dk, or enroll in Optail, or sign up for a student in, I think there's one in January or February, March. Because it could be that I think there's one in January and there's one in August. So yeah, so you could check here, but this is the last site, and this is the last, yeah, site you have to, this is the sign up form. We're going to sign up for the course. Then you could select three courses that you're thinking of getting, and then depends on the three courses if they're full, or what are the requirements, depends on how many enrolled in that. If you get, because it's not 100% that 100% sure that if you choose these courses that you will be accepted. Depends on the requirements you pass, depends on the school how many capacity they have of students. And yeah, so, but you will get a mail from the school or from uptails.dk that you are accepted to the school, and then you need to, yeah, you will reach out to the school and see if there's anything specific that you need to go to or do before the school starts. Yes, I hope this is helpful to all of you who wants to study in Denmark, and just feel free to write in the comment if you have any question, and I'll try to answer them when I have time. Okay, bye bye.